Hello, everybody. I got a little something special for you today. I've got a 13-year-old that knows his football like no other 13-year-old I've ever met in my entire life. This guy makes predictions. He's pretty spot on accurate and has got a very good winning percentage. So far for the year, he has won 74% of his games picked. So I want to introduce to you today, he goes by the name of Dice. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And let's go ahead and bring him on set. Let's get his picks and predictions for the NFL this week. Hey, Dice.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
All right. Well, for some of you that may not know me, my name is Uncle Todd. I'm from the WR1 Network. We're on the Dice set, and this is Dice. And we're going to start with our first game, which is tonight. We got the Dolphins and Jets. And let's just see how accurate Dice picks the game. Dice, what do you feel about this game?
I think the Jets, because they're thirsty for a win, and the Dolphins don't have their starting quarterback. So
All right.
I think the Jets are going to win by 14-8.
All right, folks, remember he actually gives scores, and he's actually pretty accurate if you keep track. So he's predicting a low-scoring defensive battle, but the Jets wanting to be thirsty at home to upset the Dolphins. I, on the other hand, am going to go with the Dolphins tonight. I disagree with him on this game. I think the Dolphins pull out a squeaker, 3 or 4 points. They don't have the starting quarterback, which Tannehill really, to me, is not a really great quarterback anyway, but he was in a rhythm. So that will, offset the Dolphins' offense a little bit tonight. I'm going to say Dolphins 17, Jets 13. Let's go to our next game. Next game we have Browns at the Bills. Dice, what do you think about this game?
Well, the Browns are a pretty bad team, but I think the Bills are going to pull it off because they want that wild card position.
I have to agree the Browns are probably the worst team I've seen in a very long time. That whole organization as a whole has got a lot of work to do. And I just don't get it because they keep getting a lot of first-round picks and they just can't do anything right. That team is a disgrace to the NFL at this moment. But I am going to say this. It's hard to lose every single game. At some point, you have to win just because of the ball bouncing your way that day. But I don't think it's this day. I think the Bills will win the game fairly easily, 10 to 14 points. Okay. Our next game, Dice, is Lions at the Giants.
I think the Giants are a pretty good team. The Lions, it just looks like they're getting pretty lucky this year. Just winning in the fourth quarters for like most of all their games. So I'm going to go with the Giants.
Okay, folks, you heard it. Dice says Giants. What do you think the score in that game might be?
I think 24-17. The Giants are going to win most of the whole game. And then the Lions are going to start coming back.
Okay. I have to agree with this particular game as well. I like the Giants at home. They've been on a roll. The defense has picked it up a little bit better, even without JPP. And the Lions, I don't think really are as good as their record indicates. So I agree with Dice. I think the Giants win this one. And I think pretty much in control of the whole game. The Lions might make it close at the end. I agree 100% on that game. All right, next game we have Eagles at the Ravens. Dice, what do you think about this game?
Well, I hate the Ravens, but I got some love for their colors. But the Eagles, I don't think they can beat them in Baltimore. And the Ravens are still want to be behind the Steelers, or like be in the front of the Steelers. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, see, he's a big Steelers fan, just for you guys and everyone out there to know. He loves the Steelers. He bleeds black and gold, or black and yellow, whatever you call it. So he doesn't like really rooting for the Ravens that well. But did you say you like the Ravens in this game?
Yeah.
Okay, he likes the Ravens. I'm telling you, he picks it from what he feels going to happen. And I have to agree. I like the Ravens. They got good defense. They're at home. Wentz was overrated from the beginning of the season. He's a rookie. Most rookies don't have a great first year. Dak Prescott is the only exception. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I agree with him. I like the Ravens to win fairly easily in this game. I'm going to say 31-17 Ravens. And what's your prediction as far as the score goes, Dice?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. 28-24.
All right, folks, you heard it. 28-24 from the 13-year-old. And the reason I say that is because I want you to remember, after you see all these games play out, play this back and see how accurate he actually was to these games. It's going to blow you away. Next game we've got, and this is a good one, Steelers at the Bengals. Go Dice.
I think we're going to do pretty good because the Steelers just came off a big game with these rushing yards with Le'Veon Bell. And I think they're going to run a couple runs in the first couple plays. And then I think we're just going to throw it deep to Antonio Brown. And then I think we're going to get a big play right off the bat. And then our defense needs to step it up. But I think we can pull it off.
I think so too. So what do you feel about Le'Veon Bell? Do you think Le'Veon Bell is going to have one of those games, or what do you predict for Le'Veon Bell for the day?
I think he's going to get 76 yards rushing, 2 TDs, and then he's going to have a pretty good game. A lot of passing yards.
So you expect Le'Veon Bell to catch a few passes out of the backfield, to run for about 76 yards and get a couple of TDs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good day. If he does that, I think the Steelers win this one going away. Honestly, I think the Bengals are playing for pride. They're at home. That's all they have left. The Steelers are playing for a chance to not only get in the playoffs, but to go deep. I like the Steelers in this one big. I predict Steelers 27, Bengals 14. Do you have a score on this one, Dice?
46. 3 points. The Bengals are going to score 3 points.
3 points for the Bengals, folks. 46-3, and I hope he's correct. I've actually got a little something riding on the Steelers this week. I'm pulling for you big time. Come through for us.
If you're a Bengal fan, sorry.
If you're a Bengal fan, at least you're not a Browns fan. That's all. Colts at the Vikings. What do you think about this game, Dice?
I think the Vikings are going to pull it off. They're a good team. They got one of the best defenses. But the Colts have Andrew Luck back, so I don't know. But I think the Vikings are going to win. And I think that game's going to go into overtime.
Overtime prediction from the 13-year-old. Keep that in mind, folks. These are done way ahead before the games even play. I want you to take notice and remember, when this is all said and done, how accurate he will be. Not necessarily me. I have good weeks and bad weeks. He's accurate most weeks. I'm going to agree. Vikings at home have a great defense. Not much of an offense. But we got Adrian Peterson back this week, and he's playing. That should motivate the Vikings and the crowd. I like the Vikings big in this game, to be honest with you. Not because of the offense, but because of the defense and the return of Mr. Adrian Peterson. I'm going to say Vikings 27, Colts 10. And what do you predict as far as the score goes, Dice?
I want to say it's going to be a low-scoring game. They both have pretty good defenses.
And you predicted overtime.
So, probably 6-13.
All right, folks, 13-6. We'll see how close he is after tomorrow. All right, next game we got Packers at the Bears. Everyone knows about the struggling Bears. Well, now do these Packers actually have a chance to start getting on a roll and making a playoff push? What do you think, Dice?
I think the Packers are a good team in the past, but this year they look pretty bad. I think they can still make a playoff run. And I want to go with the Bears at home.
Oh, he's calling the upset special. Bears at home, what do you think is going to happen in that game? Is it defense, offense? Is it low scoring? What do you think is going to happen in that one, Dice?
A lot of scoring.
A lot of scoring. And you think this is one that maybe, because he's been playing hurt lately, you think Rodgers will finish this game? Do you think he might get hurt or the injury will catch up with him?
I think he's going to get like around 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and that's all I have to say, and 1 interception.
Okay, so you think he's going to do okay, but not enough to beat the Bears?
Nope.
All right, folks, you heard it here. It's an upset special. The Bears, yes, he said the Bears at home against the Packers. All right, this one, I think I'm going to have to disagree on this particular game. I don't have faith in the Bears' offense. I just don't. Rodgers has been throwing decent as of late. The offensive line's been playing a little better. I think the Packers get the W, but I think it's a squeaker. I'm going to say 24-21 Packers. Okay. Our next game, we got Titans against the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Dice, the Chiefs have been looking good. What do you think about this game?
I think the Chiefs are a pretty good team. The Titans, you seen how good they played when they played the Packers.
They play
A couple
well.
weeks ago. So I think the Titans can pull it off. Because the Chiefs, they're a pretty good team. 10-3. But I think the Titans are going to play pretty good. So I'm going with the Titans.
I have to agree on this game. I think they've both been playing well, but I think the Titans are really hungry to get into the playoffs. I see the Titans continuing the roll, and I see the upset here along with Dice. I agree. I think Titans pull off the upset here. Close game, no blowout. You're not going to blow Kansas City out of Kansas City. But it will be close. Titans, a late field goal, I think, wins this game. How do you see it coming down? Is it close? Is it a blowout? What do you think as far as that goes?
I think it's going to be a really, really close game.
All right, folks. Dice thinks the same thing. It's going to be a close game. So stay tuned, and we'll see how that turns out. Next, we got the Jaguars and the Texans. I'm not really a fan of either one of these teams. I'm going to let Dice start us out with this one. I don't even know what to say about this game.
I think the Jaguars are going to win because the Texans are overrated. They are winning their division, and I think the Jaguars are just going to pull it off because the Texans do not look like a good team this year.
Okay. All right. I agree. I don't think the Texans are great. I don't like the quarterback situation. I have no faith in Osweiler from Denver they got. Hasn't looked that good to me this year. Jaguars are not a good team. But something's telling me to go with the Jaguars in this game. I just have no faith in the Texans quarterback. I'm going to go Jaguars as well. And I don't really have a prediction for score. I don't have any clue how it's going to go. Dice, do you have any clue on how it may go as far as score goes?
I want to say 10-21.
All right, 10-21 is Dice's prediction for the Jaguars over the Texans. All right, that brings us to, this is a big game right here.
Game of the week.
We got Patriots and the Broncos. That's pretty big. When these two meet, we know what happens. It usually comes down to the wire. Broncos have probably outplayed the Patriots lately, but we'll see if this year is a different year. What do you feel about this game, Dice? Patriots and Broncos.
Broncos have a really good defense. Patriots have a really good offense. I don't think the Broncos can pull it off because they have that Trevor Siemian, and I really don't think he's that good. And it's all about who can score the most points, and I think the Patriots can.